Hey, what's going on? In today's video, we're gonna talk about what you do at the end of your day when you only have this much protein or this much fat left or this much, like what can you eat in those times, in those positions? And also, what is it, how can I make a diet not so boring, right? And I'm gonna show you one thing that I do, and I'm gonna show you one thing that my wife does, which I think is really smart, right? It's a really good way to do it, but you kind of have to understand the concept of macros beforehand. So what's up, guys? Welcome back, and we're gonna talk about all the things I just talked about before in the intro, and now we're gonna get right into it. First thing you need to know is your macros. You have to understand what your macros do, how many you're eating per day, how many calories you're eating per day, prescribed in that. If you don't have any of that, you can go to a macro calculator anywhere on the internet. If you want someone to help you, please message me and I'll do so and help you as much as I can. But for the most part, your macros are made of 3 things, maybe sometimes 4, some people say. You have protein, the most important one, right? You have carbohydrates and you have fat, right? Of course, everyone just wants to burn fat, but there's also the sneaky one. You don't want to call it a macro, but it's called alcohol, right? Alcohol has its own little calorie intake. Boom, 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 right? Protein, carbs, fat, alcohol. I'm just gonna put that in there because most of us eat that, right? So it's per gram is 4 calories per gram. Carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram. Fat are 9 calories per gram. And then alcohol is about 7, according to research, 7 calories per gram. So say you're eating and you have a macro count of, let's say 200 protein, 150 carbohydrates, and then a 60 fat, right? So it's about pretty much around where I'm at, right? Trying to get higher protein, moderate carbohydrate, maybe a little bit on the lower side, and then also fat is about 30%. So I eat throughout the day and I have a bunch of protein left with some fats. What are the things I can eat? Well, from there, you kind of have to understand what's in your food, right? And that's why logging and food logging is really important, at least for a week, to understand how you eat, and what is inside your food, because knowledge is power. And the more you know about your food intake or what you're eating and taking in is going to make you more powerful, right? It's going to give you more of this whatever word is that I'm looking for. But if I only have protein and fat left, well then that leaves me with anything that I can eat without a carbohydrate, right? So if I went over my carbs already, I'm ready at like 157 for some reason, but I have 50 grams of protein and then 20 grams of fat, what can I have? Well, things that you can have is like an omelet with veggies. You can have protein, which is kind of what my wife does on this one, but I'll tell you after. You can have another piece of meat, chicken, a steak, because that has protein and fat. That's like with the skin, the higher fat content, kind of getting maybe, I think at 50 grams, probably like 6 ounces of chicken breast with a little bit of fats. So you can put like, I don't know, some type of a dressing and oil. I would just eat peanuts on the side, it's that simple. But knowing where you're at is going to help you in that one. This is a stupid video. I can't explain this easier or better. I can't. How can I explain this better? But the one thing my wife does, right, is she knows what she wants. And she's not gonna, if you are gonna eat dessert, right, you kind of like want a dessert, or you want, let's say ice cream, for instance, right? I want ice cream, and I know I want ice cream tonight at the end of the day, but I want to make sure it counts. So what she does is she'll take what she's going to eat and she accounts it beforehand. So in the beginning of the day, right? This is how she doesn't make her diet so boring. She'll take the ice cream, or now it's yogurt pretty much. She has a healthier version of ice cream, right? She has her Greek yogurt with granola, but it's very dense, and it helps satisfy her and that sugar and or dessert craving that she has. So she'll get Greek yogurt, I believe half a cup or a cup of granola even, some fruit and some honey, and then she'll drizzle it, right? And that she'll measure all of that, have that already set into her day, right? She knows she's gonna eat it and it's gonna be at the end. So now the rest of the day, she works around it. And she'll have her breakfast sandwich with egg, turkey bacon, turkey sausage, English muffin, and then she'll have her shake, and then she'll have her lunch, which is like 3 ounces of chicken and some vegetables. And then same thing with dinner, right? But because she already pre-planned that dessert or whatever she was going to eat, she's now within the macro count, right? And that's what they would call flexible dieting and learning how to be flexible. So sometimes you don't have to avoid things. If there's something that you really want, really enjoy, you can have it. You just have to account for it beforehand, knowing, like if you're going out to a restaurant, a lot of people do I'll do like research beforehand, kind of knowing what is I'm having, what it is I'm going to order immediately, and not have to look at the menu. Because if I keep looking at the menu, I'm going to see other things I might want. Versus like, this is what I can have, and I know I can fit these into my day, so let me just stay with this. And then throughout the rest of the day, going back to that weekend video we talked about, now the rest of the day I can pre-plan to that. So let's keep the example without going all over the place of the dessert, right? Her dessert's probably 20 grams of protein, a pretty high carbohydrate content because granola is super high in carbohydrates. If you guys don't understand that or know that, a cup of granola is super high, right? And you forget how dense granola is because it's oats, honey drizzled, sugar, right? And all these things into one cluster. That's why it is so dense. Not really just because of the oatmeal and the grains, it's because of the things that put it together. The honey, the brown sugar, and all that wonderful, delicious stuff that makes it good. So she knows that it's going to be a higher carbohydrate meal, which means at dinner, she's probably gonna have just chicken and vegetables, and maybe lunch some chicken and vegetables, because she also already had her breakfast sandwich, which has a higher carbohydrate intake, and then a piece of fruit or 2 pieces of fruit for her post-workout as well. So she knows what she wants, and she moves everything around that. If you can learn how to do that, you're gonna make dieting and this journey so much more sustainable, because it's an easy way to do it. You're staying in your calories, you're staying in your macros, you didn't go off anything, and there's no guilt, right? There's no guilt behind it. Because if we don't do that and we do have that craving, you're gonna eat normally, and then at the end of the day, you're gonna only have 50 grams of protein, 20 grams of fat, which means you can't have that dessert, right? You can't have that because you're gonna go over. It's gonna throw you off a little bit. So know what you're doing before you go into it. That's always my suggestion for a really sustainable life inside this world of trying to lose weight, trying to get stronger, trying to be better. If you have any questions, hit me up, and I'll see you on the website and on the next one. This is Pete from crankvegas.com. I'll see you guys later.